So years ago, I went to lunch with a young man who's a good friend of mine, and he was kind of asking me some questions about, throughout your career, what are some things that you've done that, you feel like have clicked? And so just kind of off the cuff, as I was kind of throwing some stuff on the table, we jokingly kind of came up with what we call the three S's. And the three S's stand for substance, style, and stature. Early in your career, you basically build substance. And so your substance is what you know, and it's kind of what the world perceives that you know. Your style is how you interact with the world. And the stature is really a product of the two. So, a lot of times early on in a young person's career, they want to have a lot of stature. The problem is that doesn't come early on. It's something that's kind of a product of your working really hard. So substance is that, it's kind of what makes us all up. And early on in our careers, it's really where you're just pouring your life into learning. And so if you wind up going to college and you get a degree, the foundation of the substance is what you learn in college. But early on, if the idea that you have is you're just going to get a job and work 40 hours a week, you're really going to miss it. The key in substance is to learn as much as you can early on. So a lot of times when I'm kind of encouraging young professionals, the concept is to work as much as you can. Now, you don't want to become a workaholic, but you do want to work enough that you just develop a very good foundation. Malcolm Gladwell calls it the 10,000 hour rule. And so interestingly enough, if a young professional works about 2,000 hours a year doing the higher level math, you wind up getting about 10,000 hours in that first 5 years. So that's really what you're doing, is you're building a substance so that you have some technical skills that are marketable later on in your career. Style is how you interact with the world, and it's probably of the substance, style, and stature, probably the thing that's most difficult to describe. Let's say, for example, you're very outgoing, so your style would be that you would interact with people, you like being in public, possibly you like getting up in front of people, those kind of things. It's kind of how the world perceives you from a connection standpoint. There's really no right or wrong style. A lot of times it's a product of your personality, maybe your environment. If you're not as comfortable being up in front of people or being with people, it's a little harder to build that style, and that's something that you have to work on. But if you just have substance and you have stature and you take out the style, it's very difficult to figure out how you connect with the world. So kind of when I'm advising young professionals, I'm like, you got to figure out what your style is as early on as you can and really develop that. So if you tend to be outgoing, get in front of people as much as possible. If you tend to be more of an introvert, look for venues like maybe you like to write or you like to be behind the scenes, but do something that allows you to put those skills to work to help build your career. So stature is the thing that everybody wants. When you look at politicians, you look at athletes, you look at people that the world considers as successful, they have stature. They're perceived in the marketplace as being very valuable. It's not something that you get when you first get started. It's something that takes years. And I think probably most people would admit it takes at least 10 years, maybe even 20 years before you get stature. And what stature in the marketplace means is that when you walk into a room or your name's mentioned, people know who you are, they know what you can do. Probably more importantly, they know what you can do for them. And so that stature is really something that I think everybody needs to aspire to. However, it becomes a byproduct of what you know and basically how you engage with the world around you.